Good evening, fiends. Are you ready? Let's get spooky.
Hello, fiends, and welcome back to another episode of
Let's Get Spooky.
I'm Vamp,
And I'm AJ.
and today we are back on our Dangerous States train,
Mm-hmm.
which we were doing the list of 2024 when we first started this.
Yeah.
And then so I think we were trying to go in order from
We were going to make it through the full list.
I think it was like top 10 that we started with. And then I looked up, because we haven't done this for a little bit, and then I looked up the list and I was like, wow, the next one is not on the first list anymore.
You know, things change.
Things got
Crime
real.
fluctuates in certain states, apparently.
Yeah. So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, which one? So the first one said Alaska, New Mexico, Tennessee, which we did those 3 already. You haven't seen one of those episodes, but it's coming.
It's coming.
And then it was Nevada, Louisiana, Arkansas. And then I was Googling it and I was like, we should make sure that this is still relevant, right?
Yeah.
And they're still in the same order. Now, Louisiana is number 1, Mississippi is number 2, and Alaska has, oh no, that's not Alaska, that's Arkansas. Alaska's not even on this list.
Whoa.
Things are
Good
changing.
for you, Alaska.
People are doing
This is
less
for
crime.
you.
Slow clap. But this list didn't have the violent crime per whatever, but they're obviously, it's Louisiana is up to number 1. So we are talking about Louisiana today.
Yep.
To get our updated 2025 list. So typically we start off with movies and shows.
Movies and shows that were either shot there, are set there, have to do with the place, you know, just something related.
State adjacent.
Yeah.
I looked up a list of things. I'm pretty sure mine was all shot. I'm confused because yours was something else. I think mine were all shot
Mine
there.
are set there. So, like, you know, things in the movie happen in Louisiana.
Yeah, so I'm going to just do the top couple because I feel like I'm going to do the honorable mentions. So Skeleton Key was shot there. And some of these are old. This 2005. Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh, 1995, taking it back. Some other House on the Bayou, which was a 2021, I believe, is a Netflix film.
I haven't seen it.
That's, I think, the newest one. American Horror Story Coven, obviously.
Which is great.
It's the Garden District, right, is where I think the house is. We drove by it last time I was there.
Yeah, I drove by. I
Overlook,
jumped out. I took a picture in front of it.
and then got back in the car.
And I got back in the car and I said, it's way too hot because I was there during the summer.
Scream Queens,
Yeah.
which was a horror comedy series, and then The Originals, which is the, I guess, second show to Vampire Diaries, which was my guilty pleasure way back in the day. I love me some Vampire Diaries. And then The Originals was like the prequel show, was like where they came from, which was set in New Orleans, which is also very CW, but listen.
You know,
I love a
sometimes
good CW
a little
show.
guilty pleasure every now and then.
So those are my honorable mentions. There's a longer list, but True Blood.
Yeah.
True Blood was also shot there.
Mm-hmm.
All the other ones, I don't remember. I didn't see them.
I had Last Exorcism. It's a pretty decent exorcism movie. It was one of those ones where I'm like, wait, have I seen this? And I went back to my Letterboxd. I'm like, yeah, I did see it.
And this is why
They
we
start
do
to blend
Letterboxd.
together.
It does. There's so many things.
Dracula 2000, which is an insane movie. It's wild.
Yeah, it is.
The concepts in it are crazy. It's an old movie, but I don't want to give too much away, so you should just go watch it. Obviously, Interview with the Vampire, both the movie, which is iconic, and then the show.
AMC show, which is fairly new. So there's a lot of, we were looking up a lot of Louisiana stuff, and everything is very New Orleans centric. 'Cause I feel like it's New Orleans.
And I felt bad because I'm like, no, I need to find stuff that's outside of New Orleans because, like, us being in California, like, California kind of has this too, where it's like when people think of California, they think of Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Where it's like we have other places, but most people only really think about
Right.
that. So I'm like, you know what? It's fine.
You want to give Louisiana some love outside of New Orleans, but listen, when you think of Louisiana or going to Louisiana, you think of going to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like bad stuff, so I guess it's good that like the fun stuff is in New Orleans and it's not like the most dangerous part of it. But I looked up fun. I think you did too. Fun things to do, but everything was New Orleans.
Yeah.
It was like the French Quarter, which I've been to. We both been there. Yeah. It's very fun. Swamp tours. I haven't done a swamp tour. Swamp tours. Have you done a swamp tour?
I did.
Oh, how fun.
It was so fun. I didn't do the insane like one with the big fan
boats.
I didn't do that.
I want to do.
Because that was scary. Like we did one where it's like everyone had like your groups had different colors, and that's how they like were, okay, green group, now it's your turn. You board your boat and then you take off. As the fan ones were taking off, I was like, my ears felt like they were going to.
Do
like
they make them wear the headphones?
I think you wear those funny little headphones.
Yeah, so you probably can't hear very much. It's more of like just for the like.
I think it's more of the excitement and stuff, and like I have a little bit of like trauma from when I was younger because we did one of those type of things, but it was like a bigger boat. It's the ones where they go super fast and then they hit the brakes to where like you go under the water and a big wave comes and hits you.
That doesn't sound fun.
It was not fun. For some reason it was, you're a child, you get pushed into doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of trauma from that. So I was afraid that something like that would happen, but we did more of the like pontoon boat. It was very nice. We went up and down the little rivers.
So it's like a cool leisurely.
It was nice.
I like that.
Yeah, the guy was tossing out marshmallows and hot dogs to the gators, and they were loving it. They were jumping up and grabbing it.
I love
it. It was
gators.
so fun.
I mean, I love gators within a safe distance, but I mean, we've talked about Gatorland. Like, I love me a gator, and I'm just every time we've gone to either New Orleans or like Florida, where they have the swamp tour kind of experiences, it's just we never have enough time. But I feel like the place to do it is like in New Orleans on the bayou, like very. I want it to be. I have a vision in my mind. It needs to be executed. I feel like Fan Boat doesn't do that for me.
No.
And we in the studio have. They're called big ass fans. They're literally big ass fans.
Yeah.
And I just had a moment where we were moving some stuff earlier, and I was like, my hair's gotten really long, and I felt my hair like we were moving a ladder, and I felt my hair like pull forward.
Final destination moment.
Full on Final Destination moment. And I was like, I've never been afraid of this before, but I just could see it. My hair gets sucked in, my face gets sucked in, hits the metal, and then I like it's ripped out.
Wig
of my
snatched.
Scalp. Yeah. So I feel like now we're talking about fan boats, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, no. I like the more leisurely.
Yeah, just like a
nice taking it in. It was really hot, but it was still it was a lot of fun.
So swamp tours are on my list of things to do, but that was number 2 on the list. And then there's like there's a zoo there, there's a World War II museum, there's St. Louis Cathedral in Jackson Square, which is like right in the French Quarter, and then Frenchman Street, which is like where all they play the jazz and stuff. But that's all like French Quarter centric, so very like New Orleans. And I've done most of that except for the zoo, the museum, and then there's a place called Mardi Gras World. I don't know.
That sounds like one of those like tourist trap.
Yeah,
shops.
It says get a behind the scenes look at Mardi Gras floats and tradition. So they probably have like stuff on display that you can take photos with and stuff like that. But that was, I think, a TripAdvisor list. On multiple lists, I found nothing that was not New Orleans. And I'm sure there's plenty of like other things to do in Louisiana. Yeah. But maybe they're just not as easily accessible. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cemeteries.
There's a lot of really great cemeteries. We went to St. Louis Cemetery number 1, which is like one of like, it's a very small, like if you think of like cemetery size, the size of it is very small, but I think it's like one of like, I feel like it must be one of the most well-known ones. It has Marie Laveau's tomb, the voodoo priestess, which was really cool to see. People still go there that have like, their, to get your wishes granted, you mark 3 X's on her tomb.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't want to go too deep in. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay.
You're like, you don't got wishes? What?
I always have wishes, but I didn't know. I didn't do the deep dive before to fully understand it, and I didn't want to do something where I didn't understand it.
Yeah. You're like, this could also, like, what if I do the X in the wrong spot?
Yeah, what if I do it wrong and then I'm cursed for life?
Right.
But
Smart.
that one is also great because it has Nicolas Cage's future tomb,
yeah.
which is so crazy looking. It's like a giant pyramid.
Which is, if you don't know this, that they don't bury the bodies in the ground.
Yes,
So
the way
everything
that
is
they
above
do their
ground.
burial is really interesting because obviously in most places, I mean, if you're not cremated, like, you know, if you're not in like a, like, you know, Hollywood Forever has the more like tomb style ones.
Right.
But even that's different because it's like you get your one little you get your little box and that's just you.
Right.
Here you're above water or you're above ground because of where they are in like the water
table,
level.
right? Yeah.
So you can't really dig into the ground without like flooding and stuff
Right.
like that. So they put you into these like some of them are called like oven tombs.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, and it's crazy because some of them actually are shaped like ovens.
Oh, wow. So like in a morgue.
Yeah. But it's so they put your body in there and you're in a coffin.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be moved or touched for a year and a day, which I think is a really interesting amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how they established that
Right.
time, but basically,
Decomposition and
yeah. So if a family member then passes after that, they basically take you out. They collect your bones. They either put you in a nice little bag and put you at the back of the tomb or on a different level of the tomb.
So there's multiple bodies in the...
Yeah, that's the thing. So like one of these tombs
Interesting.
could have like a long line of family members.
Right.
And it's, I mean, honestly, it's great for space.
Makes more sense, yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's like if you bury multiple bodies, that's a lot of space.
Right.
So like this is a great way to like honor full families within one space.
Yeah, and at a certain point, you run out of space. Like, there's no more. That's. I mean, you find that in cemeteries all over the place where they're like, it's full. Like, we can't put. I mean, in a lot of cemeteries, they'll stack the bodies, but I don't know how many that you can do.
Yeah,
that 'cause
you
have to
can
be
only
so
go
low.
so deep.
Right. Oh, that's really interesting.
Oh yeah, they're called oven crypts.
Oven crypts.
But so yeah, it's really interesting, and I feel like it also creates like their cemeteries are just like very cool looking because like, you
Yeah.
know, ours, it's like unless they have like a really cool headstone,
it's just flat. It's just grass.
it's just flat and it's just grass.
Right.
But like here they have these big tombs and these big crypts, and it has like that kind of like French architecture that's
Right.
really cool.
It's kind
too.
of what you imagine when you think of a cemetery, at least for as long as I can remember, even being a little kid. I never imagined a cemetery being like how they are here, where it's just flat grass and the stones are laying in the actual grass. You always imagine tombstones and crypts and big, you know, and I think that's just from like older movies and shows
Yeah.
of seeing that. So when you go to a lot of them in Southern California or a lot of other states where it's flat, you're like, oh,
Like,
it
oh.
just doesn't look as like what you picture it being.
Yeah.
So I have a funny cemetery story. The last time I was in New Orleans was for Overlook Film Festival. And so we did stuff with the film festival, and then Cameron and I and some of our friends were like walking around the French Quarter. It was our friend David, and he only had like that afternoon. So we were trying to do like as much as we can walk around. So we met at the Vampire Cafe, and then we walked to like some voodoo shops, and we go into one shop, and there's these girls. And so I guess this is in relation to the dangerous state. So we're in the voodoo shop, and we're just kind of like checking stuff out, talking, doing our own thing. And these two younger girls and like some guys come in, like college looking, in their like early 20s. The girls are dressed really cute, but very like normal, like white dresses and
Okay.
like sandals, and like not our vibe at all. So we're still doing our thing. We hear them talking to the guy at the counter, and they're like, so we want to go to some cemeteries. Like, where should we go? Blah, blah, blah. And they're asking questions in very Valley Girl voices. And so then I'm like listening because I'm like, where is this going to go? This sounds funny already. And so the guy kind of looks at them like straight, like he's not joking. He's very serious. And he's like, you can only go there in the morning or you might get shanked. And they look
My
at him and they're
gosh.
laughing like, we want to go and like get photos and whatever. And this is, it was later in the afternoon, maybe like 4:30. And most of them close. They usually like lock the gates around like 5 because they don't
Yeah.
want people in there. And he's like trying to explain to them, like they think he's joking. He's like, no. I'm serious. Like, you will get robbed and you might get shanked. He's like, but you will get robbed. And they're like still laughing, and like they're again not taking him seriously at all. And then we were talking to him. Lady's like, no, but seriously, like you will probably get shanked. You're going to definitely get robbed. Like, go there in the morning when the sunlight is out. Don't go there near closing. Don't like, I mean, because for us, we travel all over, and there's times where we're like, the cemetery is like closed, but there's not a gate.
Yeah.
Like it says it closes at 5, but it's open. You could still just walk in. So there's a lot of times it's like us and a couple friends, and we're not doing anything crazy. We're just going to go
You
stroll
just
through,
walk
take
through,
a photo,
yeah.
whatever. Be super respectful. But as this group was leaving, we're all kind of looking at each other. We're like, they're going to go get robbed and they might get shanked. Like they were not understanding. Like he's like, no, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving you asked me for advice. I'm giving it to you. You're giggling as if you're not listening to me. I didn't check the news to see if
I was going to say,
girls
did you
got robbed or shanked.
Yeah,
but
in the newspaper.
at that point, you deserve it because you've been warned by a
multiple
local,
times it sounds like.
multiple times. You giggled and it wasn't a giggling conversation.
Yeah.
But that there goes to show you like during the daytime and in the French Quarter, I mean, it's nothing closes. It's like open all night long.
Yeah.
But I would say in like it's a very touristy area, and a lot of these cemeteries are not like right in the middle. They're like a little bit out of the ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a really report about how it turned out for them, but I found it entertaining. I shouldn't have found it entertaining, but I did. I was like, you're just dumb at this point.
You're just this is what you get.
What about weird laws?
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of these state things, is the weird laws.
And there's a lot.
There's a
lot
way
of
more
really
than-
weird ones.
What did we do last time? We did Tennessee. There was like a couple. The first one that I was like, who does? I mean, I guess you do gargle when you like have mouthwash, but you can't. It's illegal to gargle in public.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who?
Like who's doing? Like at first I was like, yeah, that's really gross, and then I'm like, but wait, why are we doing this?
Right. And who did this so many times that they were like, we need to make
That's
a
a
law
law.
against this. No more gargling.
Yeah.
Um,
Another one of my favorite was mourners have a 3 sandwich
that's
limit.
the next one on my list.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
So if you're at a funeral, and obviously there's usually if it's a good funeral, there's a good spread there.
There's the wake, which is
Yeah.
like, it's not really a party, but it is. It's the celebration.
Celebration of life.
Afterwards.
But if you want that 4th sandwich, you have to ask permission.
3 sandwich limit at a wake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Who made that up? Definitely not Subway or like Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Or what is that? The Jersey Mike's?
Jersey Mike's. Ike's.
Let's
Let's name them all.
fake boxing matches or faking or shaming boxing matches is prohibited. Like I read that one. I was like, I don't
How do you shame a boxing match?
I don't. It says shaming in quotations. So I don't know what that, like talking shit on it. I don't know.
Oh, you can't like chirp at a
Heckle?
boxing
You
match? You can't heckle?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like none of these laws are really.
Every one that I read, it was like, yeah, you might hate this, but don't try to report it. Like, yeah, it might technically, it's like, because, like people
They
from
don't-
before, they make
they
a
don't
law,
update
but
'em.
then they don't really update
Yeah.
them. They don't really take them out. So they're technically there, but like if you called the cops or something, they're not going to come and arrest someone for having a 4th sandwich.
Don't you dare wear a goatee.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
past, wearing a goatee required a special license. Could you imagine, like, people are getting shanked in the cemetery and robbed, and you're like, hold on, I would like to come to the police department.
I have
would
a
like
complaint.
I would like to apply for my goatee license.
This person's facial hair does not please me.
Someone did not like or facial hair.
Yeah. I also really like the you can't tie your alligator to a fire hydrant.
I mean, that's cruel.
Yeah.
So I
If
would
they're
agree
cold,
with that.
if you're cold, they're cold. Bring them inside.
But that insinuates that pet alligators
Yeah, are just a
are
thing
normal
at some point.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm all for it. If I could get like at Gatorland, they had like the little baby ones that you could hold, and they're so cute. And they had like what did they hang like from the rope? The one guy goes on the rope across the
Zip line.
The zip line. They had a zip line. Remember the guy went on the zip line, and there's like all his little babies came out, and I was like, oh my god, I want one. So if they
Cute.
stayed like little and you could put a little harness on it, I would
Cute.
have one.
Yeah,
You can only take a finger off. It's fine.
that's
fine.
fine.
You
I
just
have
put-
10 of them.
Yeah, you just make sure you have lots of snacks for them. If they're not hungry, they're not going to eat you.
10 finger sausages.
Yeah. It's not a hard concept to understand. Just feed your gator. Oh, I see that one on here. Snoozing with open windows. If you snore, you must ensure that your bedroom windows are closed and locked. Appreciated,
Yeah,
but not.
but also,
Realistic.
dang, how loud are you while you're snoring?
I don't know. Obscene language on the telephone is prohibited in Sulphur. I don't know where Sulphur is in Louisiana, but
Can't
apparently
do
they
it.
don't like it. So there's another one about boxing matches at the bottom. It's illegal to mock or insult contestants in boxing matches.
I wonder if those two things are connected.
Yeah, I don't. It seems like shaming is that. And then cowbells are banned in some place I can't pronounce. Cowbells can be annoying. So.
Oh, I don't know. You can never have too much cowbell.
Oh, wait. Mardi Gras beads and condoms. So throwing beads from a 3rd-story window or at a parade float is illegal. But isn't that what they do?
But I think it's from
people throw them.
No, you can throw them from the. I think I saw that one. I think it's the one that I saw specified. You can't from the 3rd floor.
But
if you're on the 2nd floor, totally fine.
Aren't the people flashing from the floors?
It's both.
So you can throw them back and forth.
Anyone can show them off.
Oh, okay. I thought it was only the beads were coming from the street to the people. I didn't know that the people.
No, because I think people are watching from, because you know how they all have those cute little balconies.
Yeah, in the French.
I think they're watching from there, so they're tossing down to the.
Interesting, but
people
condoms.
I don't understand it. That doesn't sound.
Back to safe sex. I fully support that, but I didn't know that they threw condoms. I just thought girls showed their titties and they threw beads. That's the extent. I've never been to Mardi Gras, so I don't know firsthand, but I feel like that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other notable.
Yeah.
Unless you have any other notable ones.
Biting someone with false teeth can be classified as aggressive battery since the false teeth count as a weapon.
So what is it if they're real teeth?
Nothing.
Only bite with
rabies.
Possible
rabies.
That is. I mean, I feel like that's illegal in a different way, but what would that be called?
I don't know.
I'm not good at crime things. Clearly, we live under a rock. Oh no, my notes didn't update.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna let you take over for now.
When I went to New Orleans, it was an amazing time. Still dreaming of those shrimp po' boys that I had.
The food is so good. So good.
One of our favorite things to do when we visit new places is we always do like ghost hunts. Mm-hmm. Or not ghost hunts.
Ghost tours?
Like ghost tours.
Yeah.
Like, they like a walking tour. New Orleans has a ton of them. They have like ghost ones, paranormal,
like the ghost town
vampire
tours.
ones, like voodoo ones. Like there's a lot of different degrees depending on like what you're interested in, which is also great because it just kind of gives you a quick, like, a little history of like what's in your area. One of my favorite stories that they told was about the Casket Girls of New Orleans.
I saw this one.
Yeah, which is it's really interesting. I saw a few different versions of it. I mean, it's an old story, so like who knows what is fully true or not. But 1728, New Orleans was had a bunch of male settlers from
1728.
Yeah,
jeez,
I know. That's a long time ago.
That
were kind of like, building up New Orleans, and especially in that area. There were women there, but they're not really the, bride quality.
Gotcha.
If you catch my drift.
Yep.
So they were thinking of their futures, how are we going to populate the land? So they shipped over a lot of young girls, 14 to 19 from France, to basically come to New Orleans, live there, populate the land.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ride over from France is pretty long, especially back in the day on a boat. Mm-hmm. I read that it takes 6 months, which is just insane. You have to think they don't have streaming. They didn't have iPads back in the day. So like, what are you doing?
They had like nothing.
They had nothing. You're just staring at a wall.
Can you imagine 6
months?
I can't even
on
imagine 6 hours on a boat. I get terribly seasick. Like I would be dead by the time I got here. I would just like put me out of my misery.
They were close to it because on top of like it taking a long time, they weren't really allowed above ship. So they were very pale. They're very malnourished. They're very crazy looking. So when they arrived, rumors kind of began like, what is wrong with them?
The zombies came out of the boat.
Yeah, they were like vampires.
Yeah.
So they came with their chests, which is why they're called the Casket Girls, because they're like, well, they're bringing their caskets and they're looking very pale and malnourished. And some of them were like sun blistered and like they looked wild after the 6-month trip.
Messed up.
So
They're like, your ladies have arrived. And
their
everyone
ladies
looks
have
dead.
arrived, and it's them. They went to, I'm gonna totally butcher this, but the old Ursuline convent,
I believe it.
which is, I guess, one of the oldest buildings in the area. But so this whole thing didn't really work out. You know, them just basically pairing these men and women up didn't really work out. A lot of the women went back home.
Could you imagine? I would have to go 6 months.
Yeah, another
to get
6
back.
months.
It must have been that bad.
Toss me in the ocean at
right.
that point.
And they're like, it was so bad that I would rather waste or take 6 months to get back home.
No, thank you. But so they left their chests up in the 3rd floor, had belongings and stuff still there. The nuns who ran the place went upstairs, and all the chests were empty. So then there were rumors that there were some type of paranormal something along with it. I mean, it's New Orleans, so you'd think vampires.
Right, right.
And they say that they they nailed in all the windows and the doors, and they had it blessed, the 3rd floor.
So what did they think,
I'm not sure. I was trying to look for more details.
like, why
and
is
they're
that
very
scary
vague.
though? I would have been like, great, these are empty. Now there's not a bunch of shit I have to get rid of. Like, I don't how does that correlate? But I guess if they figured nobody did it,
Yeah.
how did it disappear?
They just kind of where did this stuff go?
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Casket girls.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that I found, so I was looking for, I guess let me do statistics, because I was looking for more things that are relevant, like Florida Man stories, like crazy man chops people's feet off, or something ridiculous, but I didn't find a lot of new stuff. And I'm not sure if that's just not reported.
Maybe they're not being creative with their crimes, because I bet
Maybe
it's
they're
probably
just
just
boring
normal
crimes,
stuff.
like domestic abuse. And not that these are we're not belittling any of that. All of that's terrible. But yeah, they're not outrageous crimes. Where
Nothing that
no
it's
Florida Man
people are
stories.
what the heck? You mean they're only killing people who wear red shoes?
Right. Which I feel like we need to do Florida next, because on this list, they're number 8. And I feel like Florida's just gold.
There's no way. There's so many crazy, insane stories.
But I think that they're the Florida Man stories are just ridiculous stories where these ones rate higher because they're violent crimes, assault, rape.
And there's probably more of them.
Right. They're just not
making headlines because
they're not
of the
super
insanity.
crazy. But it's saying Louisiana's violent crime rate is 629 per 100,000 residents, which is 65% higher than the national average.
Oh, wow.
Property crime rate is also elevated with 2,630 offenses per 100,000. And it has a high crime rate compared to the national average, particularly violent crime, which is wow. I'm having a moment.
Have another pickle chip.
Right. Which is not just silly guy with, I saw a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mask, a guy with teenage, you're going to cut all of this out because he can't talk. Guy with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mask robs 7-Eleven. That was the kind of thing, which are not obviously severe crimes.
Yeah.
So most of the stories that were pretty intense were old. One of the ones that I kept seeing come up was the Axeman of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And I love me a good Axeman.
Yeah.
I love a good weapon story. So it was a serial killer, but this was in 1918 to 1919. So it was only a year. And he would break into victims' homes and attack them with the axe. And the attacker was never caught. And most of the stories were just that. It was crazy man with axe, breaks into home, kills people, never found him. And you're I guess I could see that in 1918.
Yeah. I feel like the axe was probably an everyday item in people's homes, because they have to make wood for fire.
Make wood or cut wood?
Cut wood
They
for
have to cut
fire.
wood. Yeah. I mean, true. So, but what caused him to kill people with the axe? Was he crazy? Did someone wrong him? And then the other thing that I found a lot of it, which I just did a couple stories because there were so many of these. These were all older, but it was women killing their husbands.
Oh.
A lot of them. So Monique Kitts hired a hitman to kill her husband in their home, but that's it. That's the story. It was she hired him to kill her husband. It doesn't say I'm assuming he was killed because it's a story about something bad happening, but that was it. There was nothing about the trial. Maybe I just didn't delve too deep into it. But then there was the husbands of Minnie Wallace. Minnie Wallace was a woman from New Orleans investigated multiple times for the deaths of her husbands who all died under suspicious circumstances, and she was never convicted. And this one didn't have a date, but I know this one was also older. Robin Davis was convicted of arranging the murder of her husband, Brian Davis, who was found shot to death on a rural, say it for me. Rural. Nope.
Rural.
Nope.
Rar.
Rar road. We're just not going to go there. And there was a lot of that, and I was like, "What's in the water, Louisiana?
What's going? It's the gators.
Is it the what's making the husbands crazy? What's
Yeah.
making the ladies crazy?
What's
Why
going
aren't you
on?
just getting a divorce?"
Yeah, I feel like that's easier.
I mean, but maybe not in like the 1800s or
I
like
guess
the early
yeah,
1900s.
I feel like they probably had dumb rules about that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these were like early 1900s or 1800s. So I get why maybe that wasn't like a common thing, but I just feel like it's such an extreme measure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a lot of commitment.
And
Which
planning,
apparently they didn't have very much commitment.
I know I've said this before, but like if you ever had to like get rid of a body to like, you know, and not that I'm saying I'm going to do this, but listen, if you ever had to, I wouldn't, because you'd have to dig a hole in the ground. Have you ever tried to dig
You can't.
6 feet into
We
the
just
ground?
talked about this. You can't New Orleans.
Oh, you can't. So what do you do with them?
The water would just.
Oh, that's why they were
Hello?
left on the rural. Why
One
can't
more
I
time.
say that word?
One more time.
It's R-U-R. Why is that so hard to say? Rural. That's why she left him on the road, okay? Because she couldn't dig a hole in the ground.
Deserted road.
Because deserted.
Desert.
I don't
Desert.
know. I can't say that word. I feel like I've been able to say that word in the past.
Oh, I can't. So that's why I'm not even trying.
Rural.
I'm just sitting here.
But it's not rural because there's another R in there. Rural. Rural? Is that it? Did I do it? Rar.
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 We're moving on.
Next.
You got anything else crazy? Oh, the weather's crazy there,
Oh, yeah.
but not as bad. So I kept, because I was like, oh, they say they're in Dixie Alley, which is not as bad as Tornado Alley.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, how bad is it compared? Dixie Alley sounds bad. They have a
Yeah.
lot of tornadoes. I won't live there because I don't like tornadoes. I won't live anywhere they have tornadoes. I don't
Yeah.
care. You can't pay me. You can't give me a free home. Won't go there if there's tornadoes.
No.
It's a non-negotiable.
No,
But it says they have around 55 per year, which sounds like a lot.
that's a lot.
But in Tennessee, in Tornado Alley, they have 1,200
Oh.
on average. So 55, 1,200. To me, that's the same. To me,
Honestly, if it's
1,200,
one, that might as well be
55,
1,200.
One, it's the same. We just
If
don't do
if
it.
there's a possibility of my house just being into the sky,
And they also have super sweltering heat, very humid
it's
weather.
so,
You know what? That's it. Why do people do crazy things?
it's because
fucking
of the
hot.
heat. Yeah, I get really cranky too.
I get real. I'm not going to murder anyone and leave them on a rural road,
deserted road.
deserted road. But the heat does bring out
hmm
anger and
That
frustration.
mixed with being hangry, while also
Hot and
overheated. Deadly combination.
Don't give her an X.
Nope.
Yeah. So the weather is beautiful. We were there in the last time in April, and it was beautiful.
Then
It
there's
was like-
me. I think I went in I think I went around this time, and it was
Oh, miserable.
hot. Oh,
Misery.
you literally walk outside and you're already just like drenched.
Yeah. I don't do humid. I
Yeah.
don't do. That's why we live here.
Yeah. Dry heat.
So yeah, the weather is kind of shitty, but I do feel like anywhere that it gets really, really hot and then you hear about crazy things happening, it would be interesting to know if a lot of these murders,
Yeah.
crazy stories happen during like the summer months, because that would, not that it's okay, but it there's a correlation.
Yeah,
that
there
makes a
has to
little
be
bit of sense.
something, because I also wonder, like, yeah, if you're able to like track, like, when things happen, what months,
There's
is
gotta
there
be
a
like
rise
a chart.
in certain times? I feel like I just see a
What is it? A bar chart? A bar chart where it's
Yeah.
like heat versus crazy crimes.
yeah. Someone make that
We're not going to
and
do
then
it.
email it for us.
And please send it to our email so we don't have to, because we're
Put it in the
clearly-
comments below.
Clearly not going to do it. I don't know that I really have anything else that is
Another cool
crazy.
haunted location, not in New Orleans, that we
The
went
one
to.
not New Orleans thing.
We went to the Myrtles Plantation,
Okay.
which was really cool. I'm not going to go like super deep into the history. I feel like that would need its own thing just because
Right.
obviously like just like most of the plantations in
little problematic.
Louisiana, very problematic.
Yeah.
A lot of horrible, awful things happen there. But this is one of the ones where they say it's possibly haunted. I didn't see anything, unfortunately, but I think it's because Matt was there and he kind of wards off. I'm convinced
have
that
you
he
noticed that when you do stuff together?
people are there like, this is the most haunted place on the planet, and then Matt rolls in and all the ghosts are like,
hey, bro.
we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell a story? And it was for a different episode, but it was like about cannibals, right? And wasn't it in New Orleans?
That was in New Orleans
you did
too.
a thing. I know if this is redundant if you've seen the other one, but
so
if you
I'm sorry
haven't,
if I won't. I'll just do the highlights. But
it's a crazy.
if you
story.
want if you want the full story of the crime and stuff, you should definitely go and listen to the Cannibals episode. It's the Katrina Cannibal.
Yeah.
So this was like a story that I had heard. Like, you know, you're watching like you know, haunted places of the world, and it tells you the story, or like a true crime thing. I probably had heard of the story multiple times, but we did a seance/ghost hunt situation, and we went there. We did the seance. Nothing really happened. But then she's like, yeah, we're going to go. It was like basically a shop, and then there was an apartment above it. So she's like, okay, yeah, we're going to go upstairs. I'm not going to tell you guys anything that happened here, but like, you know, just know the hot spots are in the kitchen and in the bathroom. So we went upstairs.
And you didn't know about the Katrina Cannibal? Did you know that it was...
I knew the story. Like, once I heard it,
were...
I was like, oh, I do know the story, but I didn't know that it happened there.
When you were signing up for this thing, you didn't know.
I had no idea. So we went upstairs, and like, you know, you're walking around. They had this one room just filled with all these dolls and stuff, and it was like a very small place. And then she's like, okay, we're all done. I also noticed on the stove, and like it's like a stovetop oven combo thing, it had a bunch of like offerings, like packs of cigarettes, coins, dollar bills.
Yeah, it was like a little altar.
Stuff like that, little altar. And then also the fridge had some stuff inside of it. The bathroom had a couple things like on the tub. And then she's like, okay, we're done. So we went downstairs, and she had all these like security cameras. So as we were sitting there watching the security cameras of like how we were just up there to see if like anything happened.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, let me dive deep into the story of what happened. And basically like, so when Katrina,
she didn't tell us
she didn't want you to
anything
get
ahead of time.
anything
And think like, oh, I know because this story happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to, sometimes it's good when you're doing a ghost hunt to go in kind of blind and
100%.
not really knowing, because if you tell someone, oh, the lady, like, you know, died falling down the stairs, people will go immediately to the stairs and be like, oh my gosh, I can feel her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my head hurts from fall, like, you know, because I can feel like residual stuff from her. So she didn't tell us anything. So she started diving into the story, basically like during Katrina. Obviously a lot of people left New Orleans. But in the French Quarter, there was a handful of people who stayed behind because they're just like, I'm not leaving my home. This couple was that type where they basically stayed there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like, you know, being in that kind of situation, you go kind of a little nutso. And a little bit after, he killed her, and they're not 100% sure if he actually like ate parts of her, but he kept her dead body in the tub. And I personally think that he was trying to like get rid of, like, you know, so he was like, he cooked her in the stove and on the oven and stuff, because I think he was trying to like dispose of her body to like hide it away. I didn't do this type of thing. He was obviously going through something, because they found like his journals, and he wrote a lot of like troubling things in there. The story is absolutely is insane. I highly recommend either going and listening to the last episode or like reading more about it, because like just the timeline of events of like how everything happened it's like crazy.
And he probably got away with it because there were so many people that were gone. Like, you think about a body decomposing, like think about seeing roadkill, or if you ever had to like encounter that, like the smell is insane. So could you imagine being like, it was an apartment, right? Like in an apartment,
a teeny tiny little apartment with like, I think it was only like, it's like a situation where you walk in, it's like one room, there was a bedroom, and then there's the kitchen, which has a bathroom attached to it. So that's it. Yeah. Very small.
So you wouldn't have been able to get away with something like that with people, like neighbors and stuff. Like, you would have, obviously they would have smelt it, and you would have gotten caught, I'm assuming, faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. And I feel like,
do you remember when this was? Well, it was Katrina.
It's Katrina.
So that's not like all these other
2007?
stories, which is crazy because in all of my research, I remember you saying that, and that the fact that that's not on like the top list of crazy things that happened, like I didn't see that once in so many articles.
Yeah, it kind of brought up in mine, but I was like, I already talked about this. So Zach and Addie, when was good? Gosh, time makes zero sense to me.
I know, time is irrelevant. I feel like it was in the 2000s, right? Fairly, I mean, not super recent, but definitely like within a couple decades, which a lot of the other stuff that we're looking up is like in the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. I had one while you're looking that up. 2005. You were close.
Oh yeah, and so then this happened in 2006. So it was after.
Right after. But there was like, I mean, New Orleans was like
the community was broken. It was so hard putting everything back together.
So this one is Hans Mueller. And so the headline is Hans Mueller and the Sausage Ghost. And they had me at Sausage Ghost. I was like, I don't know. This has to make the list. I'm not sure what happens, but it's making the list. And it says, legend has it that a 19th century New Orleans butcher killed his wife and made sausages from her remains and sold them in his shop, only to be discovered when a customer found a piece of her wedding ring.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right. But there's like no other, this was just like a list of quick highlights. There's no other like, did it really happen? Because it says legend has it. So this could be like not real, but I want to believe that it's real. I mean, I hope
you want to believe it's real?
I hope that it's not real, but for the sake of a headline saying the sausage ghost, like I kind of want to.
I don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think anyone. Like hot dogs, like do you really want to know?
No, I'm good.
Huh?
Grind them up.
Grind them up? Like grind what up? Your wife?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Leanna, you're coming home with me.
Wow, I'm going to be on the list of when you do...
How he made sausage with his wife, right?
Well, if the ring showed up in there, he couldn't even take her ring off.
That sounds like such a foreigner. You're talking about how he made sausage with wife, yes? That's what they said. That's a legend has it that he was a butcher. And maybe he was like short, he couldn't find meat. So he was like, you pissed me off. I'm going to make you into sausages, lady. But then he didn't take her ring off. He did a boo-boo. And
just
so that's
take the rings off.
Yeah, I don't know.
That seems like too?
I mean, if it's ground up, will you know?
I guess not.
I don't know.
It's like all the people eating their Chipotle right now with the worms, and they're just eating it like
what?
this. Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh my gosh!
I don't eat at Chipotle. So
this has nothing to do with Louisiana. Yeah. But like, there's all these videos coming out where there's these like little green worms in everyone's like bowls.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're like finding it, and they'll be like halfway done with the bowl, and all of a sudden there's this little worm like. Boop, boop, boop.
Have you ever had something like that, and you like not a worm, but like eaten something, and you're halfway through, and it's like moldy or so?
Oh wait, I think I had no.
I did this kind of recently. If you've learned nothing on the show, we start somewhere and we end up somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We usually get back to circle back, but I don't feel like we're getting back to, we're just going to go on a tangent. So this was a couple months ago, and I had gone to Movida Juice Bar. I love this. It has nothing to do with Movida Juice Bar. They're great.
Nope,
it was
never
amazing.
Going there again. 1 star.
It was a blueberry banana coffee smoothie.
Nope.
So good. So freaking good.
Sounds rank.
I've never put iced coffee in a smoothie. I've just never thought of it before. Yeah. And it has almond butter. It's so delicious. Like, I love it. So at home, there's no Movida Juice Bar by me. So I'm like, I'm going to replicate this thing.
Uh-huh.
So I get all the ingredients they'll give you like, they don't give you ratios, but they tell you what's in it. So I'm like, I'm going to eyeball it and replicate the smoothie. And so I knew I had iced coffee, like the, I don't know what the brand is, but in the fridge, in the garage. I forgot that I had opened it before, and then there was no room in the inside fridge, so I put it back in the garage fridge, and I just didn't think it was as old as it was. So I bring it in, I make the smoothie, and the rest of the day I was like, wow, my stomach hurts. Like, it hurts, but I don't think I had anything bad. I was like, there's nothing that I ate that was bad. So then, like, I did it, and the next day I made it, and then by the third day, I I grabbed the iced coffee because it's just ice. It didn't smell bad.
No.
It's just coffee. There's no sugar in it. It's just black, cold coffee in the fridge. You get it at Target. Again, I don't remember the brand. And for some reason, I looked up at it. I don't know why. I was just shaking it, and I looked up to see like how much is in the thing. Girl, there was shapes of things on the
Curdled
bottom. And then I opened the lid and I looked in it. There was so much fucking mold.
Oh,
There was so much mold. I didn't think iced coffee, like cold brew, not iced coffee, cold brew coffee would mold. It was just coffee.
Everything molds.
I know, but I didn't think about it. I don't know. So I basically been poisoning myself for 3 days.
You're becoming immune.
My stomach was warped, and I just didn't even think about it. And I didn't even show him, because I think if I showed him, he would have been like, "What the fuck? How did you not even look?"
Now you're
It
telling
was so much mold. And then I was like, hey, I think the reason my stomach hurts is that coffee was really moldy. And then I looked at the date, and it was like,
Oh gosh.
it was like 6 months
Oh,
expired.
my gosh.
So, I mean, I'm fine. It's fine. A little.
Are you fine? Are you fine?
Maybe that's the brain thing why I can't remember.
I don't think she's
I
fine.
poisoned myself. So, on that note, Louisiana, listen, it was on number 1. I just don't feel like I believe it, but it's statistics.
I don't
it's
know.
The law. I feel like there's a lot of things that maybe we just didn't get on our list. So,
Yeah.
it's
The fact that man was like, "Don't go to the cemetery, you're gonna get robbed and shanked," makes me think
for sure.
there's something happening outside the French Quarter that you don't see.
100%. And you think about a lot of places where there's crazy crimes happening, and a lot of the times they're not publicized because they want to hide them. They want tourism, especially in a city like New Orleans. So I do believe statistics. It is very dangerous. Currently number 1 most dangerous state.
Number 1.
So do your research before you travel to places. Make sure
Just be
that
safe and smart.
you ask the locals, and if they tell you something, don't laugh at them. Maybe believe them.
Listen, yeah.
And most importantly, please check all of your food items and make sure that they are not moldy and you're not slowly poisoning yourself, because it's just not a good idea. It was 6 months expired. Almost. I think it was like 5.5 months.
Sometimes expiration dates, they're made up. They're a lot of the times it's made up.
It wasn't Best Buy. No, it didn't say Best Buy. You know, like it says Best Buy and it'll have a date, meaning like if you didn't open it yet,
Sell by usually, like, you can.
It said
a little bit.
It said EXP. That's expired.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
Yeah.
And the sign should have been the giant mounds of mold all in the bottle.
True. I mean, the only thing for me is like I grew up. I mean, I still do listen to Green Day, and there's the song "Warning, Sanitation, Expiration Date, Question Everything." So that's how I live my life.
I mean, it's smart. I normally do check. It was cold brew. I was like, I don't think this is gonna grow. It's like, to me, that's like water. Like, does water grow mold? I guess it does.
Yes.
It does. But like in the refrigerator? No. Like a bottle of water in the refrigerator, if you open it, you can keep it in there forever. It doesn't grow mold on it. There was something else. Maybe I introduced something maybe I
The
drank out of
air.
it whatever. But
I don't know. Scientists in the comments below, let us know.
tell us how mold works. Tell us how poisoning yourself works. So with that, check your expiration dates. That will do it for this episode of Let's Get Spooky. We would like to thank our sponsors, Black Magic, Nanlite, Kessler, and Lively Ghost. And make sure to check the website, follow us on social media to see all of our past episodes, and don't forget to